Kami akan kembali.
So what we're saying is that what the judges really look for is more the flaws or the mistakes, and then based on that, then they of course can get to a proper total of how much points the athlete has accumulated. Okay.
You know, all these judges, they will all average out the point, then the winner.
Okay. Social distancing.
Yeah, social distancing.
Isn't it? Yeah.
So the Singapore exponent will perform first.
So we start off with Mohammad Iqbal.
Yeah.
The weapons used, of course, in the semi can be the authentic, the real weapons. But when you have a team event, then you don't use real weapons, right? You use a representation.
The weapon is all standard size. You must have certain standard, certain size, certain length. Everybody must comply to this parameter.
But when we get into the artistic male double, that changes, right? Do they still use weapons in that?
Yeah. If doubles means they fight, so they choose what kind of weapon they use.
Okay. So starting off his routine with a fair deal of confidence. We did, of course, talk about Roslan did enlighten us earlier, even on how proficient Mohammad Iqbal has been in recent times. He's a very seasoned competitor.
Behind the blue coaches is the coach for Singapore team. So we are the blue corner. No?
Okay. A key part that I've kind of always picked out in Silat, and that makes it different from a lot of the other martial arts, is your stance has to be very grounded or very solid at all times. In other martial arts, that tends to waver slightly while you're doing, a routine of movements. So it's almost like saying pitch perfect, or every movement has to be extremely sharp for a Silat practitioner, for a Silat.
The kuda means your the way you stand your ground must be to the ground, steady, stable, so you don't fall easily.
Absolutely. I've kind of noticed that there's always a very fine sense of balance with each movement. Does that take long to master? How many years does that actually take you to get there?
Usually if you train Silat, usually they start from kids, but there is people who start late, but best when you're a kid, your body still soft.
It can be molded.
They can be molded easily. Can be tiring. You see, after the whole thing, you can see them panting.
Because we're talking 100 steps.
Yeah.
That's
and you cannot show that you're tired or you're weak. You have to
you have to soak it in. The use of the stick, or the bamboo, how close is it to something like what is used in Budokan or in Aikido?
What I noticed for martial art it's always very close. I see many of the martial art, they are using sticks.
Absolutely.
It's one of the main.
So the scoring's out.
Yeah, see, they will average out everything.
That's pretty much. That's a high score, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. Pretty much.
So it looks like it's been quite a solid start for Singapore.
Yeah. But you know the red corner is the Malaysian.
Team Malaysia.
Their coach is in the red box, the red corner. He is watching. So if he's smart, if any movement or miss movement from Singapore, they can launch a complaint.
Also, they can also. You got to watch out for these weak points or flaws in your opponent. You don't have the chance in artistic.
Yeah, when the gong start,
you just have to go through your routine the way
on
it is,
your
right?
own.
Absolutely. So very interesting. We've got our Malaysia representative, and that's Luqman bin Laji. Also a very young lad. He's. It all depends on this first few steps and how you exude confidence. I think Singapore started off really well. So it's going to be interesting to see what Luqman can bring to the stage today.
Now the Sunny event is a knockout system, you know. Last time it's like everybody will perform and the highest point gets the goal. But now it's like a knockout system. Now Singapore, when you ballot, you see who plays who.
Okay.
So the winner of these two will proceed to the next step.
To the next round, okay.
Yeah. Last time is not everybody perform, then the highest point win.
So now you're saying actually there are stages that
maybe
the
this is
goes
the
through.
semi-final.
Yeah.
The winner move on to the final.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Supporter, please be quiet.
In the semi, I've noticed there are some times that you use musical instruments, and musical instruments are such an integral part of Silat. Not just the instruments used, but the kind of beat used that signifies movement or attack. It's not often used in solo performances. The music.
The competition we don't use, but on the majlis, you know, or an event or in any performance, they use.
That would be more for kind of a display.
Yeah, display
performance. Okay.
Like, you know, sometimes they do for weddings with the movement.
Absolutely. I've been witness to that so often, isn't it?
So they just perform to the tune of the music, you know, freestyle.
And that's absolutely entertaining, I have to say. Absolutely.
But this is they follow the Persilat movement, right? But for that, all they use their own club's movement. Every single club there is certain movement that distinctive to the club.
And those could, of course, be depending on which movements of which animals or which they're actually perfecting or following. So far, what you see of Luqman bin Laji, how do you think has been his performance? He seems to be fairly focused.
Yes, right.
But I feel just to a certain extent lacking that slight sharp edge that Muhammad Iqbal had.
The face expression, you know, that the Iqbal have the kind of face expression which he interests, like the determination face, you know, the greed face.
You're absolutely right about that. That's something that I wouldn't have actually picked out, Roslan. It's so important because that can be a convincing factor for the judges.
For the judges.
Absolutely.
Maybe you have 100 correct points, I have 100 correct points. So down to what?
You get that differentiating factor, absolutely. So the solo event, it's not just about movement, it's also performance.
Yeah. There you have to do a lot to convince all these judges. Sometimes the way you dress, the way you know,
present yourself.
You know. You impress people. If you look sluggish, you look sloppy, you know.
Absolutely. Yeah. So he's got fairly a fairly high score as well, and now they're going to average that out. I'm actually quite.
It's a close fight.
So now
this is very.
and Wing Chun. Everyone wanted to get into Kung Fu Karate. Of course, Kung Fu never had its presence here. But today, we look at it as totally different. We've, of course, got the scores coming up. 9.905 for Luqman bin Laji. Is that what we're looking at, his average?
The winner is the blue corner from Singapore.
Let's give it up for Muhammad Iqbal bin Abdul Rahman from Singapore.
So we've got our winner. Our first winner is Mohammed